Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Saturday Night Wine Stream and another exciting edition of Drink with Rick. I'm Rick, and tonight we are going to try a wine that I picked up at the Winestore in Blakeney, of course, as I usually buy my wines. Not always, but usually. And this is one that I've had sort of been waiting in the wings to try it out, and we're going to do that tonight. It's part of my finding more budget-friendly wines during this shut-in, during our stay-at-home shut-in. And for a lot of us who are on a very, very tight budget right now, I figured it was more appropriate to find a series of wines that would be a little more budget-friendly for us all to try. And this includes my budget, too. So we're going to try that out tonight. We're also going to do a few other things. We're going to learn more about the grape that this wine is made of. I've got a little tutorial here to learn some fun facts about the grape, a little history on the grape as well. That should be a lot of fun. And we're going to do some birthdays, of course. And let's see, we don't have any anniversaries tonight, but we are going to do some birthdays, and we're going to also do some let's see, what else we got here? Toasting birthdays and national days. We have a lot of birthdays to toast this week. A lot of people were born in April, apparently. So we're going to go ahead and go through that in just a moment. Let me check on something here real quick. And Vourvedre grape. I want to make sure that this is pulled up as I had wanted to in the very beginning. Okay, we're all set now. You can also watch us live. If you're watching us live on Facebook, that's great. Join in the chat. I've got the chat wide open on Facebook. And Rob's joined us in the chat. And Rob, it's great to see you. Stick around. Tell me what you're drinking, or what you'd like to be drinking, or what you'd like to see me drinking. Stick around. Tell me how you're doing, how things are going. And we're going to have a great time. You can watch us on our Facebook page. At Drink with Rick, that's on Facebook, Drink with Rick. You can join us there and join the page. You can like the page and join up and talk to me there. You can also watch us on YouTube. Let's see what we have going on YouTube right now at the moment. That stream's going on YouTube live, and you can watch there and you can comment as well. I'm watching those comments as well. You can watch us live on Twitch. We're on Twitch at Drink with Rick 1. Now on YouTube, it's Drink with Rick. Just Drink with Rick. On Twitch, it's Drink with Rick 1. And, of course, you can catch us on Twitter at Drink with Rick. And, of course, on our website at drinkwithrick.com. The podcast, if you miss the live stream, you can always catch it and watch it later on any of those places, pretty much anywhere there where we're streaming it. And you can also catch the podcast if you're not into watching us and you want to passively listen, or if you want something to put you to sleep at night. You can catch the podcast. We go out at 10 p.m. every Monday night, exactly 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on Monday night, and you can catch it there. And, of course, you can always contact me through email, rick@savoyamedia.com. That's rick at SAVOIAMEDIA.com to watch us live there. So you can catch us all over the place, wherever podcasts and whatever sold. Actually, if you want to subscribe to the podcast, you can subscribe to the podcast on the Drink with Rick website. We're on, am I going to go through this whole list? Probably not. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn. You can catch us on your favorite Android device and, on your Apple device. You can also listen to us on iHeartMedia and Deezer and Stitcher. And, of course, you can actually, if you subscribe, you can subscribe and get the latest episode. As soon as it comes out, you can get an email notification with the latest episode in the email. I haven't really talked about that much in the past, but I'm really going to start talking about that more because it is kind of cool. I listen to some podcasts that way, where I subscribe to some podcasts, and then whenever a new episode drops down, I'll get an email notification. I'll just click on it, and it just pops right up, and I can hear it play. It's pretty cool. I like that. And that is courtesy of Blueberry.com. Blueberry, who I've been associated with for many, many years in the Tech Podcast Network with a lot of my shows. So it's pretty cool stuff. It really is. And so we have numerous ways to watch the show. You can contact me, numerous ways to contact me. I want to hear from you. Right now in the chat, please join us in the chat and tell me how you're doing and talk to me there. And you know what? We're going to be giving away a copy of Start Ugly by Chris Krimitsos here at the end of the month, and I've got details on how to do that coming up. If you haven't caught this in the last few episodes, I've got that coming up. So let's go ahead and get to the wine. What we're drinking tonight is an El Goru. El Goru. I don't know if it's El Goru. It's Goru. I don't know what it is. But, you know, one of the things that first caught my eye when I saw this bottle, for some reason it reminded me of Joe Rogan's podcast artwork. I don't know why, it just sort of did. It's not really like it, but it just, I don't know, for some reason it just caught me. It just reminded me of it. I don't know. But anyway, this is a very interesting wine. I picked up in Winestore a few weeks back, as I mentioned. Actually, it was almost 2 months ago that I picked it up. Someone recommended that it might be good wine to try. To be honest, I don't recall that I've ever really, I don't recall that I've ever really tried any of this wine like that. They usually have a sample. I have a little wine sample bar set up there in the store. You can try it out. I may have, I don't recall if I have or not. But we're going to try it out tonight and see how it pairs with some food and some of these delicious foods that my lovely wife Chi has made and prepared for me. And she brought them up to me just before the show started. So we're going to try and see how it pairs up with that. Let's learn a little bit more about this wine. I don't have a whole lot on this. I went to their website and they didn't really have a text sheet or anything on this wine. They had an interesting website, but it wasn't very comprehensive, I should say. But the website is, what is that thing? It's, I don't know, I'll give you the website in a minute. I don't remember what it is. But let's go back and look at this wine a little bit more. I'll read you a little bit, whatever little I have on this wine. And by the way, Stephanie's joined us in the chat. Stephanie, it's great to see you. Please stick around and tell me how you're doing and tell me what you're drinking. Drink right along with me. I want to know what your libation is tonight. And look, it can be water. If you're just drinking water, apple juice, whatever it is, soda, you can drink it right along with me. I will take no offense for that. And if it's beer, that's fine too. It's whatever you are drinking. Let's see what we got going on in Twitch. Not a whole lot, but let's look at this wine a little bit more. This is an El Goru. This is Ego Bodegas, and that's the website I was trying to remember before, egobodegas.com. And once again, it's a very nice looking website, kind of flashy and everything, but there's really not a whole lot of information on the wines themselves. A little bit, not too much. So let's look at the back, and I will read to you what is on the back of this wine bottle. And let's see if we can get a little more information from it here. El Goru, this is 2016, Jumilla. Jumilla is the country of origin. That's the denomination d'origine. I'm terrible at this. You can laugh if you want. It's okay. Jumilla. It is 61% Monastrell, 54% Syrah, and 5% Petit Verdot. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this as we go along with the wine. What it says here, and it's really hard to read, so I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it for you here on the back. Goru, and that's 17th century, friendly and admired character with a capacity of seduction and an extreme generosity for spreading his love, was remembered with affection for generations and immortalized in numerous paintings. Wine with a story to tell. So that's a little bit about Goru. Goru, I don't know, he lived in the 17th century. So he was a friendly and admired character. Well, judging from the photograph on the, or whatever it is, the image on the front, he definitely looked like a character, I'll say that. Now, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Let's see. Getting back to the back for the moment. Let's see. It's imported by Trivan Imports Incorporated. It is a product of Spain. There is 14.5% alcohol by volume in this 750 milliliter bottle. And by the way, when I was on their website earlier, it said 14% alcohol, and this is saying 14.5% alcohol. And as we know, and as we've talked about so many times in the past in the wine stream, you can't necessarily trust what's printed on the bottom of the bottle or what is printed on their text sheets for the wines, if they have one, or on their website for the wine, because it's going to fluctuate, and it can fluctuate quite a bit. And in the U.S., at least, the laws in the U.S. Are a little bit lax as far as what they require on the bottle for alcohol content. At least 14% alcohol by volume. It can be a lot more than that, considerably more. So it's possible there might be as much as 15.5%, maybe higher. It's possible. You just never know. So let's go ahead and open this bottle of wine. And to do that, hopefully I have it here somewhere, because I had it here a few moments ago, unless I lost it. Where's my... well, great. Oh, here it is. It's right here. It's my foil cutter. And let's get a closer look at this while I open the bottle. And I think this foil cutter is getting a little dull. Let's see. El Goru. And of course, I've got my trusty Galway Irish crystal glass. Real Irish crystal to pour it into. And of course, I have my trusty mechanical corkscrew. It was purchased by my lovely wife, Chi, at an estate sale. Came all the way over from England at some point. There we go. That came out rather easily. I like this thing. This is a lot of fun, this contraption. And to pour it into the glass, I have my trusty... We're all trusty. Trust is a good thing, right? I have my trusty Veneto aerator from the Veneto Wine Lover set. We're going to pour this into the glass. So let's give it a little bit of a taste and see what we have. And it's a fairly dark complexion. It looks like it's fairly full-bodied. I'd like to find out a little bit more about this wine. We're going to let it sit and air out just a little bit. And while it's doing that, let's get back to the chat for just a minute and see who else has joined us in the chat. Anything going on YouTube, and nothing much going on Twitch. Let me see if I can pull up a little bit more about this El Goru wine, 2016. And this is a Jumila, and this is a Mourvedre. I don't know. They call it a Monastrell. It's a Monastrell, and I'm going to explain that a little bit, and as we get into the wine, Monastrell and Mourvedre. Let's see what we have. Wine.com has some information on it. Let's see, where else do we have? We have Vivino having it. Yeah, Vivino has something on it. Here we go. And this is, let's try the 2016 version. And let's see, Vivino doesn't sell this wine. How about that? They do not sell this wine. What do they have on it on, let's see. Yeah, Vivino, no. Let's see what else we have. Here, wine.com has it 3.7 stars they give it. And it's currently unavailable from them, the 2016 vintage. And it runs for about $7.99 is what they have it for. And across the internet, that seems to be about the going rate for this wine. So we'll go with that. Some places have it for 3.8 out of 5 stars. That sounds promising. It doesn't sound too bad. And let me see what else we have here. A Winestore. Is this even listed on Winestore? Some of the wines are not actually listed on Winestore. So that's, let's see what I paid for it. I'll tell you what I paid for this wine. I've got the receipt right here. The Jumillo, the El Goru, $7.99 a bottle. So I basically paid for it as was listed on wine.com. So pretty much the going price for this wine, $7.99. Let's see if it's worth that, or maybe more, or maybe less. We'll find out. Let's see. In the meantime, what else we have going on here? Can everybody hear me? Yeah. I just lost my audio for a second. All right, let's give it a little bit of a tasting. I'll make sure everything's working tonight. You know, I've got a little story about that, but I'll save that for later. All right, let's see. Let's give it a tasting. I think it's aired out enough. It smells a little oaky. And I get some blackberry right on the nose. Not surprising. Some black fruits in there. Maybe black cherry. Let's give it a taste. Oh, kind of oaky. I want to say, I definitely taste blackberry, a little bit of plum, and let's see. A little bit more. Try this out. Try another swig of this. Another taste. Pretty dry. It's pretty dry wine. Fair amount of tannins in it, and it's kind of it's not a light wine at all. It's pretty, it kind of grips you. It has a grip to it, and it's kind of a medium as far as being. I wouldn't say it's a heavy wine, but it's kind of medium. But fairly oaky, not real bad, a little bit oaky. And I think it would probably go good with a few of the foods that we have here. It might go very well with some of these. We'll see. We'll find out. I have to say, it is a little bit earthy. And the tannins are definitely there. A fair amount of tannins. But the finish, it has a long finish. It has a long finish, and it kind of stays with me. Definitely a long finish to this wine. It's not like a couple of the wines that we tried the last couple of weeks where it was, it just kind of, you drank it and it was so light and it just kind of trailed off and you really didn't have much of an aftertaste. But this one has a pretty strong finish to it. And I think that should pair well with several of these foods. We'll give it a try. But before we do that, let's go back to the chat for a moment or two and see if anyone's joined us in the chat. Kind of quiet in there in the chat tonight, surprisingly enough. And let's see, anything going on Twitch? Nothing going on Twitch. Been kind of quiet there too. We're going to try to keep this kind of a short show tonight, folks, because I've got to. It's taking a long time to do some of the editing, post production for the podcast version, and because my wife has said, you're going pretty long on these things, so I think it's gonna be a little shorter show tonight. Let's see how that goes. So this is what where was I? Where are my notes? Here we go. This is what we're going to do next. We're going to try to pair it with some food. So let's give it a try. I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to try it first with the burgers because I think with the Monastrell should go okay. Should go okay with the burger. And the burger is good, by the way. Oh, I got a story about that to share with you. Let's refill so we can pair these with the foods. Oh, I forgot to show you what my lovely wife Chi has tried for us tonight. She has set up a nice grilled hamburger, a couple of chicken wings that she barbecued. These are her own. This is her own recipe for barbecue wings. These are great. These are to die for. I tell you. We have folks in our neighborhood. Whenever she does like a get together, we have like a cul-de-sac party or something like that. They want her wings. They're always begging her to do these wings, and she grills these fresh. We also have a nice spaghetti and meat sauce my wife made. This might be okay with this as well. Some cheese. We have a cheddar, and we have, it looks like a Parmesan. Looks like we have some Gouda. This is not the Trader Joe's Gouda that I rave about so much. The Trader Joe's creamy Gouda. This is a different one. This is a Baby Bell tuna, you know, the ones that come in the little wax, round, kind of oval wax things you buy at the supermarket. Baby Bell. It's still decent Gouda. And we have also another special treat. This is my wife's beef jerky. She makes her own beef jerky, and this is awesome. We did try some last week on the wine stream, and she also made. Yeah, my wife cooks a lot. She's been cooking a lot since we've been staying at home, and I'll tell you, I've got the pounds to show for it. I'm not complaining. She made a really nice. This is a pumpkin bread. This is a pumpkin bread. Is what it is, and it has some almonds on top. So this should be really, really nice to try as a dessert item with this. So let's go ahead. I did take a taste of the grilled meat. So let's go ahead and have another taste. It has a mozzarella on it, I think. Oops, I got it mixed up with the. Let's go. Let's try it here. The burger's good. No doubt about that. No doubt about it. Now the tannins, cheese kind of throws it off a little bit, but the tannins go well with the grilled meat. It brings out the flavor of the grilled meat, so that's good. I would think that this might work better with a Pinot Noir than the Monastrell, but it's not bad. It's not bad. Now, let me try it with one of the chicken wings. I'm just going to take a bite of her chicken wing. This is a really, really good chicken wing. Really good. And I think this might go okay with this. Now, normally with chicken, you want maybe a white or something to go with it, as a baked chicken but this is barbecue. Different thing altogether. Not too bad. Acidic, but not too bad. It's okay. It's okay. I better take a Tums after that. Not too bad. Let's try it with the spaghetti meat sauce. Now, the thing is about tomato sauce. I think the meat sauce in here, I think it should be okay. I'll try it. Give it a try. Spaghetti, I'm not 100% sure about this. Once again, little on the sour side for the sauce, I think. Not too bad, but it's a little on the sour side. Once again, I think the Pinot that we tried a couple weeks ago probably goes better with the spaghetti than this one does. But let's try it with a little bit of the cheese, a cheddar. It's kind of hard to, cheese and wine, wine and cheese tasting. It's kind of hard to mess it up, right? It can be done. Let's see. I like it with the cheddar. I like it with the cheddar. We'll try a couple more of these foods later. But in the meantime, let's get back to the chat. My good friend Phil has joined us in the chat. Phil, it's great to see you. Tell me how you're doing. And Christina has joined us in the chat as well. I hope you all are doing very well. I hope everyone is staying safe throughout this pandemic. This has just been, as another one of my friends, Peter said a couple of weeks ago, this is terrible. It's just all this, we've been kind of sequestered. We've been kind of shut in for, what is it now, 5 weeks? It's going on that. And this has been a rough time for everybody, a rough time. And for some more than others, trust me. For some of us, it's been a little bit tougher than for other people. There are some people that, they've kind of hunkered down and they're kind of ready for this sort of thing. The preppers, as we call them. And there's some that are fairly well off and don't really have a problem, except they're just getting a little antsy sitting around the house. But for a lot of people, this has really hurt. This whole pandemic thing has really, really hurt. And it's important to be mindful of that. And I just hope we can get out of this very, very soon, and so we can everybody can kind of get back on their feet, because these are trying times. They really are. But I hope everyone is doing well. I hope everyone's staying safe throughout this. And you know what? This is a perfect opportunity if you're going to try a wine or whatever, your favorite libation. You're doing this in the comfort and the safety of your home. And you know how I feel about the drinking and driving stuff. So if you're going to do this, it's best to do it in the comfort of your home and the safety of your own home. So let's get to a few other things. Okay, I know we're almost at halfway point already. So let's go ahead and get into the grapes, because I've got something special to talk about, and that is the actual grape that goes into the making of this wine. We're going to learn a little bit about the grapes. Before we do that, let me go back to the chats and check to see what's going on. We're good. If you're just joining us, we're trying this. We're trying the El Goru. It's a Monastrell, a Mourvedre. This is actually Mourvedre. This is what I usually call these, Mourvedre, but that's an older name. It's a Monastrell is another name for it. They refer to it on the bottle as a Monastrell. It's also known as a Mourvedre grape, and we're going to learn about that right now. I think this should be interesting for everybody. Stick around. You'll learn some things about grapes. Mourvedre, or Monastrell. Grape. This is a grape that it's a red grape that's grown in a lot of areas around the world, and well known for being grown in France and in Spain. And basically, its origins. They want to say the origins of this. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself here, aren't we? Let me go back down to the. Here we go. It's widely It's widely believed to be Spanish in origin, and they're believing that it started around 500 BC. So this is a very old variety of grape. It's been around for a long, long time. Circa 500 BC, believed to have come from Spain, and particularly in the Valencia and Jamila. That's why it's called Jamila there on the bottom. It's grown a lot there. It thrives in warm climates or warmer weather. This is a grape that kind of needs a warmer climate and I wouldn't say tropical climate per se, but something that is a little bit warmer, a little bit, some places drier. It just kind of depends. Mourvedre tends to produce somewhat wines that are somewhat tannic, which is why I noted the high tannins in this wine earlier when we tried it. It's not super tannic, but it is a little bit higher than some other wines that we've tried. So that's something to note. It's The thing is that the variety of the Mourvedre grape is going to sort of depend on where it's grown, because in different regions and in different soils, and we talked about this before, the soil the air around it, the elevation in the different regions are actually all going to combine to I don't want to say necessarily enhance, but to they're going to change that grape just a little bit. They're going to all combine to influence the outcome of that grape and how it tastes in the end. So just because a Mourvedre or a Monastrell grape is grown in Spain, another one maybe in France, or the one in the U.S. somewhere, or in Australia, they're all going to taste a little. There's going to be some variations. They're going to be, and sometimes a lot of the wine experts, the tasters who taste this, can differentiate just from the way the wine is made and from the taste of the core taste of the grape. They can kind of tell what region it may have originated from, or what region it may have been grown from, I should say. So the subtle nuances in that. So it's very, very, very interesting stuff. We have in the U.S. I didn't mention the U.S. Now the grape is grown in a number of countries. It was introduced to in the U.S. to California in the 1860s. It was brought in the 1860s to California, and they took a liking to it. And they started growing the grape in some areas there in California, and I believe in Washington. I want to say in Washington State, they started growing it there after a while, but it originated in that, when it came to the U.S., the first place that it basically was grown was in California. It was grown in Australia since the 1800s, and in the 1800s, I'm not sure if it was before or after it was introduced to California, so possibly around the same time. I don't know. But it was introduced there, and they call it, in Australia, they call it Mataro. In Australia, it's known as Mataro. It is grown. It's used in here's the thing. In these wines, it's often used. It's seldom, as I understand, at least I haven't found too many places where it's just a pure Mourvedre wine. A lot of places that I purchase wines from, and my experience with the wines has been that it's been in a blend with other wines, and it seems to work best in a blend with other wines. So at least the ones that I've tasted that have Mourvedre in it, or Monastrell as we would call it. But it's used in a GSM. Now what GSM is, a Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvedre blend. So you have a blend of those three wines, Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvedre. Now, going back to the back of the bottle, as it mentioned on the back of the bottle, it said that it was 61% Monastrell, or Mourvedre, Monastrell, 34% Syrah, and 5% Petit Verdot. And that 5% added, I would think that the 5% was added to maybe enhance certain other flavors or certain other aspects of the wine, maybe bring out certain other aspects of that blend with the Syrah. So that's something to note. Now this is where the countries where they're grown in, the countries where the grapes, the Mourvedre and Monastrell grapes are grown in, primarily France, California, California, U.S., in the U.S., California, Washington State, Australia, and South Africa. And yes, they do grow other grapes. We did try a South African wine. We tried last week. We did the South African Pinotage wine. And we learned a little bit about the grape then, about the Pinotage grape, as a matter of fact. And South Africa has been growing this grape for a little while, and have made some wines, some Monastrell and Mourvedre wines from it. It's also grown in certain other countries as well, certain other areas. the Balearic Islands, is that what you call them? Is that how you pronounce them? But primarily in Spain, in Valencia and Jamila, that's where they primarily grow the grapes in Spain. So it's very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. Get back to here are the characteristics. The characteristics of more I haven't had enough wine yet. Mourvedre or Monastrell. They tend to produce red. Obviously, it's a red wine. They tend to produce red, earthy, red fruit, tannins, and a high alcohol content. Now, I mentioned earlier that it's a 14.5% alcohol that's listed on the bottle. That's just what's listed on the bottle. So it does tend to produce a high alcohol content. That's kind of normal for a Mourvedre wine. I also mentioned the tannins, the high tannins, and I mentioned red fruit, although in this wine, I was tasting black fruits. I was tasting more of a black cherry and a blackberry fruits. So I didn't really taste too many of the red fruits, although I did get a hint of plum in there. So I guess there's something to be said for that. But a fairly tannic wine. And yeah, a high alcohol content. So I have to be careful and go easy on this wine. And I think that's got it for our Mourvedre. These are the notes that I have on the grape. I think I was going to put up a picture of the grape here, but I wanted to make sure that any photos I had that I put up were in the public domain. I didn't want to steal anybody's pictures or get in trouble for that sort of thing. So that's why maybe next week we'll have a picture of the grape we're going to do next week. But that is pretty much what a Mourvedre or a Monastrell grape is all about. Let's go back to the chat for a minute. Chi, my lovely wife Chi, has joined us in the chat. Glad to see you here, honey. And I appreciate I'm talking to my wife now. And I appreciate the platter tonight. Anything going on Twitch? Nothing much on Twitch. Nothing much on YouTube. Very quiet tonight. Very quiet tonight. So, I don't know. I think everybody's watching reruns of on TV or watching anything but me. It's okay. It's all good. This is being recorded. This live program is pre-recorded. Let's see. Let's get to toasting some birthdays because that's going to be some fun. We have a lot of birthdays to toast, and I don't have a whole lot of time to do it. So let's get right into that. Birthdays. We've got a lot of birthdays here. For starters, I want to give a shout out to my good friend Mark Drury. His birthday was Thursday, and we go way back. He's a former a colleague at WOFL, where I used to work, where I worked for many, many years at Channel 35 in Orlando, Florida. And Mark, he's one of the WOFL alumni. Nice guy, good guy. And I haven't talked to him for many years, but we're friends. We've been friends we've been friends on Facebook for many years, and I think we might be connected on LinkedIn somewhere too. But Mark and Phil knows Mark. We all go back way back to the 90s, late 80s or mid 80s, early 80s to mid 90s, whatever. So here's to you, Mark. Happy birthday to you. My good friend Mark Drury. And Ross Brand. I'm going to give a little shout out and a birthday greeting to Ross. Ross Brand has a podcast and he does a stream. He does a regular stream himself. He works a lot with StreamYard, which is a streaming platform. And Ross, as a matter of fact, I connected with him on. He was at the Podfest 2020, and caught up with him there. And we were doing I think he was conducting a meetup, and I want a webcam. in the meetup. So that was pretty exciting. Anyway, Ross, his birthday was Friday. Friday, that was yesterday. And that was, what is it? What do I have here? The 17th. Yeah, that was yesterday. So we're going to give a birthday shout out to my good friend Ross. Ross Brand, here's to you. Happy, happy birthday. I hope you're having a great one and a safe one. I also want to give a birthday greeting, and I want to toast someone else who's special. Closer in the family, this is my grandniece Avery Jade Balabalos. She turned 6 years old. She turned 6 years old also on Friday. And here's to little Avery. Happy birthday to you, Avery, and I hope you and your brother Alex and your mom are doing fine, and the whole family. Happy birthday, Avery. Yeah, and I'm going through these quick because I promised my wife we keep it short tonight. So that's what I'm trying to do. And a special birthday toast to someone else who's very, very close in my family. Was very close to my family. My younger brother Tony. My younger brother Tony Savoya. He was a great guy. He was younger brother. He was the fourth. There were six of us. I was the eldest, and he was fourth down in the line. And he was a kid with a really, really big heart, a really nice kid, and just a great guy altogether. And we lost him way too soon. He passed away of cancer in 2006. But this is actually his birthday, or the 18th today. As a matter of fact, today is the 18th, Saturday. This is his birthday. I know that normally I talk about how, well, why are we still celebrating birthdays for people who lived 400 years ago? But you know what? My brother, he's someone special. This was the day that he was born. So here's a special toast to you, my brother Tony. Happy birthday. And he's the one that I've mentioned a couple of times in the show that he gave me, he used to make his own wine, and he gave me, before he passed away, he gave me a bottle of red and a bottle of white. I should have brought him up here tonight. I said before I was going to do that, and I forgot again. But I have the bottles of wine, the last bottles of wine, purportedly, that he made, a red and a white. I've never opened them, never planned to. They're just for, and as my sisters, Jean and Penny, have told me, it's probably not a good idea to open them anyway because they're probably not in really good shape now. But that was like 15 years ago or something that he gave them to me, something like that. So it's pretty old. But I have those, and I've kept them, and they're going to stay there, and as a memento of my brother. To keep his memory alive. So here's to my brother Tony. Happy birthday, Tony. And another person that I want to toast his birthday. My friend Paul R.J. Muller. Paul, this guy is great. He's I've known him for a number of years, virtually. I've never actually met him in person, but I've known him virtually for many, many years since I started podcasting. He's a fellow podcaster, but he's done a show called Caffeination. He's run this podcast for a long, long time. I mean, at least since I was doing the force field back in 2006, and his was one of the early podcasts that I was listening to, and I really enjoyed his podcast, and I would listen to a lot of his podcasts, and really, really liked him. And if you get a chance, they're worth listening to. They're pretty cool. Caffeination. He talks about coffee. That's what it's about. Coffee and a lot of other stuff. He talks about a lot of different things, kind of like this wine show where I talk about wine, but I go off on tangents and talk about a lot of other stuff. He does it, but I think he does it more eloquently than I do. Yeah, he does. Anyway, here's to Paul, my good friend Paul R.J. Muller. His birthday is also today. So happy birthday to you, Paul. And I hope you and your family are doing well as well. Another person I want to toast. I'm going to refill this glass. I told you there were a lot of birthdays to toast this week. My good friend Sherry Colley, and her birthday is tomorrow. Her birthday's tomorrow. Now, if you watched the wine stream last week or so, she and her husband had their wedding anniversary. They had their wedding anniversary, and I toasted them there. This one is her birthday, and I want to say happy birthday to Sherry. Sherry is one of my sister Gina's closest friends. They've been best friends for ever since we've known Sherry. I mean, we go back to childhood, and we were kids. We all went to church together, and Sherry is just she's a great person, and it's always been an honor to know Sherry, and I appreciate being her friends with her and all these years, and her family. She's got a great family, and here's to you, Sherry. Happy birthday. And one more person I want to toast. My good friend Gary. Phil, you still in the chat? You know Gary. Gary Mellon. My good friend Gary Mellon. He is going to be, I don't know how old he's going to be now, but it's Thursday, 4/23. It's the 23rd. That's this coming Thursday. He's going to have his birthday. Gary also goes back. He's also WOFL alumni, and we go way back to WOFL, way back to the early days. He worked in engineering. He was one of the guys, one of the crew in engineering that kept us on the air. He kept us on the air through storms and through hail and whatever else that came along, any power outages. He and the rest of the team there kept us on the air, kept us going. So Gary, here's to you, my good friend Gary Mellon, and happy birthday. That's from my good friend Gary. I appreciate all my friends. I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you watching. Stick around. If you're watching for 5 minutes or through the whole thing, it's okay. As long as you check in, tell me hi. Just check in and tell me hi. My good friend Mike Dell. I see him there too. I want to say hi to Mike. I'm going to give a shout out to my good friend Mike, who is the tech over at Blueberry. And just a great guy, and also a fellow ham. You know what else it is today? Oh, man, we've got to get into this, don't we? You got to get into the national days. Mike, you know what today is, don't you? You know what today is. We're going to get into the national days right now, because this is a special day for hams today. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Let's see, anybody else going on Twitch? Anything on YouTube? Give a shout out to everybody watching on YouTube. One other person besides me who's watching right now. But let's get to the national days. Here are the national days for today. Now, we're not going to drink national days all week, because we don't have time for that, and I don't have enough wine in here for it anyway. But let's look at the national days for April 18th, 2020. Today is National Animal Crackers Day. Oh boy, I could get started on this. This might go really long. Sorry, Chi, this could get long. On Animal Crackers Day, the classic animal crackers in the boxes, with the Barnum animals and so. And we all had them when we were kids, right? We all ate those things. They were cheap crackers. They really were. They were cheap little cookies, and not much to them. Wasn't any icing on them, right? Cheap little crackers, but they were still good. You open a box of animal crackers, you could eat the whole box, and your mom didn't care because they were crackers. Even though they were crackers with sugar in them. The animal crackers, you could get a box of animal crackers with the Barnum animals on them, and you could just eat through that whole box and nobody cared. It was great, right? They were fun. And animal crackers, now, of course, nowadays, they've gone all PC, and I think the PETA people have gotten involved, so they had to change the boxes to show the animals out in their natural environments. They can't be in cages, and it's a cartoon, it's a drawing. Come on, they're not really real animals cooped up in cages. On a train. It's a drawing. Man, the PC thing has gone way out of control. I'm sorry. And PETA, whatever they want to call themselves, are just, those people are nuts. They're absolutely nuts. And that's just me. And I'm not getting political here. I'm just stating the obvious. The obvious is that you're taking away a childhood, something from your childhood, something that's it's a tradition. It's, come on. I love animal crackers. I still love them today. Here's a National Animal Crackers Day. Anyone disagree with me? You disagree with me? I welcome it. It's fine. We can have a nice, stimulating discussion. But don't get political. We don't talk about politics or religion on this show. It's not our thing. But when it comes to PETA, I own a dog. I don't own it. My son Tommy owns a dog. This is Cosmo. Sweet, sweet little dog. Let me tell you something. These guys at PETA, whatever they want to call themselves, did you know that one of their philosophies is to make all the animals, you can't have a pet? That's one of the philosophies that I've read on this. This is my rant for the night. Okay, I'm going to make it short and sweet. This dog, his name's Cosmo, our lovable little dog, my son's dog, he's a dog. The thing is, though, he's a domesticated animal. And if he were out there, if we let him roam free and just go out there in the street or whatever, first of all, he probably wouldn't last 5 minutes. He'd probably get hit by a car or something. The second thing is he'd be wanting to come back home to eat because he wouldn't be able to fend for himself. And he'd probably get picked off by a really wild animal out there. He's just a little dog. He's just a little tiny dog, and he's a sweet dog. He really is. And he's very trusting. He loves everybody. He was out there chasing rabbits today, not because he was going to hunt down and chase a rabbit, because he wanted to come up and make friends with the rabbits. The rabbits didn't know that. They ran off. But that's just the kind of dog he is. He's just a sweet little dog. These PETA guys, or whatever, they don't want you to have pets. They want you to let them all roam free. They shouldn't have pets. There are some animals that they're domesticated. I mean, what are you going to do? You can't let them. And there's some animals that that a dog, that they've done many studies, and there are certain animals that prefer humans over other animals, especially of their kind. Little dogs like Cosmo, they prefer to be with humans than other dogs. There have been studies that have proven this, and look, I'm not going to deny poor little Cosmo. If he wants to hang around us, it's as we are. I think that's unconditional love. I tell you, it really is. But I don't know. I think those people are just completely out of control. They really are. Anyway, that's my rant for tonight. Let's get back to April 18th, National Columnist Day. Yeah, drink that. National Lineman Appreciation Day. Do you know what a lineman is? Most people, some people know what a lineman is. Some people don't. They don't really know what the term is. But a lineman is very, very crucial for all of us. What a lineman is one of these guys that go up and install or repair or both the power lines. The power line comes to your house. Power line goes down the field, that goes down the highway. The ones that are buried underneath, the ones that, especially the ones that are way up in the air. You ever drive by down the highway and you see these really tall towers? With the power cables going across the towers, the linemen and even the regular wooden telephone poles that are, just on the side of the road. The linemen are the ones that go out and and maintain those things. They maintain those power lines. Let me tell you, it is it is a very strenuous job. It's a very, very dangerous job because you're working with high voltages, a lot of power there. And of course, lots of times they're going up in buckets and things like that. But one thing about linemen, and if you ever get a chance, I highly recommend you do this. Go to YouTube, go look at some of the, and of course, if you're watching this, you're on YouTube now, but after the show, of course, not right now, but after the show, go do a search on YouTube for linemen and power lines by helicopter. You'd be amazed at what some of these people do. Some of these people now, some of them climb up some of these poles. Of course, if it's a wooden pole or something, climb up the pole, which is fairly high and very dangerous in its own right. Some people can, if the pole's short enough, they can go into a bucket, into a cherry picker and go up there and work on the lines there. But some of these guys, the ones that you see on the highway, they're stretching across miles and miles of fields and valleys and whatever. The only way they can get to those things is by helicopter. So they will have a special helicopter that comes down, and the guy has to, he's got special gear on to protect himself from the high voltages because they can't turn off the voltage. He's got to basically, I'm not going to go into it, it's a long thing, but basically he has to go out there and get on the line and make his repairs way up in the air in a helicopter. And the guys flying the helicopter are just as important as these linemen because they have to be very, very precise about what they're doing. They have to be very good at flying that helicopter to keep it still, especially in high winds in some of those areas, and keep it stable so this guy can go out and do the stuff that he's doing to work on the lines from a helicopter. It's amazing. It's extremely dangerous, amazing stuff. If you ever get a chance, like I said, go to and look at some of these YouTube videos that show these linemen working on these things. It'll blow you away. It really will. It's amazing stuff. But you know what? These are guys that go out there, like if our power goes out, let's hope it doesn't, knock on wood, and this is wood, laminated wood. In a storm, and they tell people, hey, stay inside during a storm. You might get hit by lightning. What happens if we lose power? Well, you know who goes out in the storm and fixes these things? The linemen. They're out there in the storm trying to get the power back on as quickly as possible, and they're out there in the middle of the night, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Crews of them are out there in very dangerous conditions, and they're working on these lines to get them up as fast as possible. And I've heard people, and of course, yeah, it's easy when we're sitting at home and the power goes out, and you're really annoyed by that because you're saying, the power's gone. What's with the power company? And the first thing you want to do is curse out the power company, right? That's not the power company's fault. This stuff goes down, and then they go out and you call them, they get all these calls saying, hey, our power's out. So they go out there and try to get the power back on. A lot of people wonder why it takes so long to get the power back on. Why does it take hours, sometimes days, for the power to come back on? The reason is, especially if it's in a hard-hit area, maybe it's been hit by a tornado or some serious storm, some trees falling on it, maybe a car ran into a pole and knocked it down. It could be a lot of different things. But it's not a simple thing that, let's go up and stick the pole back up and get the power back on. There's a lot involved in that. There's a lot of work involved in that. And these are the guys that go out and do it. And you know what? 2 a.m, your power goes out. Somebody, somewhere, a lineman, is going to get a call at 2 o'clock in the morning saying, hey, you got to go out and fix this. And he's going to have to get out of bed. So while you're sleeping in bed, grumbling about the power being out, as you go back to sleep for a while, for the rest of the night, somebody is getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning, putting on his gear, going out there, and getting it back online. So, you know what? The next time the power goes out, before you start complaining or cursing at the power company, think about the lineman. This is for the lineman. This is to you. I do appreciate the work you do, and the dangerous work you do is much appreciated. I've known a lineman. I've known a couple of linemen, and it is very it's incredible what they do. It really is, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Here's to the national, what do they call it? National Lineman Appreciation Day, because I do appreciate our linemen. National Auctioneers Day. Third Saturday in April is National Auctioneers Day. I can't talk that fast. Most people know me can't talk that fast. Can't quit talking, but I can't talk that fast. National Auctioneers Day, why not? You know, my wife Chi and I have been to auctions before. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. When we lived in Florida years and years ago, we've been to a couple auctions, and never won anything in an auction, but it was fun. It was fun to experience. National Auctioneers Day. And April 18th is National Record Store Day. This changes annually according to nationaldaycalendar.com. By the way, I'm getting all this from nationaldaycalendar.com. And you can check it out, nationaldaycalendar.com. And by the way, they only have a few of those calendars left, the wall calendars. There are only a few of them left, so if you want one, you better get it now. We are in April, but they're still worth it. We've got one hanging on our wall. Phil, I think you've got one. We gave one away at the beginning of the year on the show. So if you want one, get it now. They're fun. They're fun calendars. National Record Store Day. Anyway, a National Record Store Day. I remember in Orlando, I used to go frequent. There were a couple of record stores that I frequented, I believe, before they went all CD. Well, one of them went all CD. The one in Winter Park Record Store, the one in downtown Winter Park, that went all CDs. Like, it didn't take them long to go all CDs after CDs came in vogue. But let's see, there was a record store across the street from my friend's house, and that was on Orange Avenue. And it was, I can't think of the name of it right offhand. I'll think of it at some point. But it was a retro record store, and it was really cool. You could buy used records. I went and sold when CDs first came out. I thought, this is the end of records. I'm going to go buy all CDs. It was a really stupid mistake on my part. So I took a whole bunch of my records down to that record store and sold them. I sold them to the guy. And, of course, he paid basically nothing for them. He didn't give me much for the records. A whole stack of them. I had some classic albums. And, of course, I traded in for some CDs, too. Now I'm kicking myself because now that records, that phonograph records, vinyl has come back into vogue. A lot of those, some of those records, the classic stuff, is just worth a fortune, a small fortune. I had a case in point, I had a double album, ELO's double album, the Out of the Blue album. Beautiful, beautiful album that you'd open up, and they had the spaceship in there, the ELO spaceship, the double album. And it was one of my favorite albums anyway, because I like ELO. Always liked the Electric Light Orchestra. And the thing is, one of my sisters, and I can't remember which one it was, one of my sisters borrowed some of my albums one time. They were visiting me when I was living in an apartment in Florida. And she borrowed my albums. I don't even remember which one it was. Never saw it. Never saw it again. Never saw that album again. Somebody has it. One of my sisters still has my ELO album. I don't know. I don't remember which one, but somebody does. But now that vinyl's back, I don't know if they still have it even. But it was one of my favorite albums. I had some other favorites too. Joe Walsh and a number of other favorites that I had that are long gone. That was I still have a few of my albums that I saved, but a lot of them I let go, and I'm just kicking myself for. Anyway, where was it going with this? National Record Store Day? Because this is a Stream of Consciousness show, and that's what I'm doing, following my Stream of Consciousness. National Record Store Day. Here's the... All right. I think it's going to do it for the National Days today. I think we're almost there. There are a couple other things I want to get to before we go. Of course, in this lockdown, we have been dealing with. I want to mention the emergency radios again because we use them quite a bit. As a matter of fact, the emergency weather radios, and I have one right here. As a matter of fact, I have several. I have this one, which is one of my favorites, and this one here. This is a GXT 1050. This is a camo version of GXT 1000, which is from Midland. And this radio, actually, this is used a lot by hunters, people hunting around. And I don't know if any of the guys from Winestore are watching tonight, Matt or any other guys. I know a couple of them are into hunting. This is a good radio for that, good solid radio for hunters. But that also has weather. If you look on it, it has weather channels on it, weather alerts, so you can be alerted to weather conditions. But we have a number of, as my wife can attest to, we have a number of weather radios in the house because I am also a weather spotter, Skywarn weather spotter. So we have a weather station. We keep some weather radios in the house. Last week we had a storm come up, a really, really bad storm, and it kept me up all night when the storm hit. And this was the one that had killed 6 people, I think, in Mississippi, and was coming up the line, came through North Carolina overnight. And I thought, well, I got to stay up for this one because this could be dangerous. So I had prepped. We have a room downstairs that is prepped in case a tornado hit. So that we could all, and everyone has instructions, they know what to do. We say tornado coming, we all run downstairs, and that's our designated room, safe room to go into, such as it is for tornadoes. And I had it stocked with radios and a lot of other emergency things, flashlights, batteries, and stuff in case something happened. Nothing happened, of course. I should say, of course. So fortunately, nothing happened. Not of course, because anything could happen. You never know when it's going to happen. But if you, the important thing is that we were prepared. We were prepared for anything that could have happened there in regards to the weather. We had our instructions. We knew what to do. We had the radios there too. But it's important to have a weather radio. Everybody should have one. The interesting thing is, now, for full disclosure, I work for By2Way Radios. I'm the product manager for By2wayradios.com. I work for By2Way Radios. This is the website. We sell radios, but we sell a lot of weather radios, and we have had quite a spike in the sales of weather radios since this pandemic hit, which I thought was interesting because you would think, well, there are a lot of ways that you can use radios, and I'll go into that in a future wine stream. There are a lot of ways you can use weather or two-way radios in a pandemic like this, both for business and consumer. But the weather radios is kind of what caught me by surprise. I wasn't really expecting that. So I've got, I have my weather radios ready. But a lot of people have been buying. We've had a big run on weather radios recently because of that, for the emergency alerts and things like that. So, and definitely, I was saying to my wife the other night when the storms hit, I said, look, we're already under this lockdown, under this pandemic. We really don't need a huge storm coming through with tornadoes and hail and stuff like that. That's all we need. We don't need it. It's just one thing after another. One disaster at a time, please. One disaster at a time. But if you're interested in getting a weather radio or any radio at all, you can use... Fortunately, my boss has authorized me to do this. You can use the promo code WINESHOW, that's WINESHOW, WINESHOW, and you can get 5% off your order. And it's good for anything you purchase on the site. It's not just the weather radios. If you want any other kind of two-way radio or a radio accessory, or even this, if you're a podcaster and you're interested in gear like this, like I'm listening to myself on a 15, 20-second delay from Facebook on to make sure I don't lose audio on a surveillance earpiece. We sell these as well. I sell these, and these are like $20. It's pretty cool. Good investment. Anyway, you can save 5% off your order by using the promo code WINESHOW, and this is only for you. It's only for you here on Drink with Rick on the Saturday Night Wine Stream. There's one more thing I want to mention. There is, let's see. Oh, yes, there's one more thing I want to mention here about the Start Ugly promotion. You know, we are doing a promotion for and I thought I had it up here. I guess I don't. But let me find it here. This month we have been doing a promotion. I've been offering a free copy of Start Ugly. This is the Start Ugly book by Chris Kremitzos. And this is a really, really good book. I really highly recommend it. This is a book about just starting a project, something like you have, a dream you have. Just get up and just start doing it. Don't worry about having all of the stars to align perfectly before you do whatever you want to do, because it's never going to happen if you do that. It's never going to happen. Just start. Just do your thing, and then just fix it as you go along, just like this wine stream. When I first started, the first few episodes, and it hasn't gotten much better than that, but it's moving along. The first few episodes were pretty clunky, pretty bad. Episode 3 was probably the worst, really, really bad. I was doing some live experimenting with multiple cameras. It did not work out well at all. It was a disaster, complete disaster. But I kept going with it, and here we are doing stuff like this. So, I'm going to give away, we gave one away during the holidays this past year. I'm going to give another copy of this away, Start Ugly. It's a great book. And all you need to do is send me an email at rick@savoyamedia.com. That's rick@savoyamedia.com. And all you need to do is answer this question. What idea, project, or dream do you have but have put off starting or completing for one reason or another? It doesn't have to. You don't have to write an essay. You don't have to write a big whole thing about it. Just tell me in just a few simple words. Just in a few simple words, okay? What project or dream or idea do you have but have put off starting or completed for one reason or another? Have you had something you've always wanted to do, but you've never done it because you're afraid that, I don't know enough about it, or I don't know, everything's got to be perfect before I start that. And that's why you've just never done it. So many people have had dreams and visions and things that they've wanted to do in their lives, but they've never done it. They never followed through because everything wasn't just right to make it happen, and they were afraid of failure. This book is going to dispel that. It's going to say, "Hey, you just start it. You just do it." Some of the greatest successes out there are by people that had just started it. They didn't worry about that kind of stuff. They just went in and they just started doing it, and they became very, very successful. You can too. So. Just send me, rick@savoyamedia.com. That's rick@savoyamedia.com. Send me your idea. You can do it in the chat. Do it in the chat right now. I don't care. It's fine. Just post in the chat. I look at all the chats. And as a matter of fact, let me look. We see, okay, let's see. Lori9 says, "Hi, Rick." And DI Mode says, "Hi." And Skur0 says, "Hello" to Kerry Kachanka. And Lori9 says, "Bro, where is your hair?" It's not on me. I'll tell you that, Lori. It's not on me. And it's not going to be. As a matter of fact, I might shave it all off. My family has been suggesting that I shave off all of my hair, Lori. And for for several years now. And lately, I've had more of an incentive to do that because one of my friends, Todd Cochran, he shaved his. He started doing a haircut, and then he said, "Oh, what the heck with it?" and just shaved it all off. And it's actually a good look for him. I'm surprised. It's actually a good look for him. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know. I don't want to be a copycat, but they've been telling me to do this for so many years. Maybe it's time. I don't know. Maybe in the next episode, I might just. I don't know. We'll see. That's a good question. Should I shave my head? Just tell me. Do you think I should just shave it all off completely? Shave my head all off? I'll send you a couple of. I tell you what. I'll send you a couple of these Drink with Rick wine coasters. Drink with Rick wine coasters. Tell me what you think, and we'll take a poll and see. And if the votes come in that I should shave, maybe I'll shave. We'll see. Let's see how it goes. Anyway, so getting back to the book, what idea, project, or dream do you have but have put off starting or completing for one reason or another? Send that to me. Send it to rick@savoyamedia.com or in the chats, any of the chats. Tell me what you think. And at the end of this month, I will draw one, and the winner will get a free copy of Start Ugly. Trust me, you will love this book. It's very short. It's very easy to read, but it's a really good book, and I highly recommend it. And it is, I think it's becoming kind of a bestseller there. They've got a Kindle version now. Amazon, they've sold so many of these copies that Amazon has actually authorized a Kindle version, I believe. So I don't know if am I supposed to say that yet? But I think there's a Kindle version coming out. But you can get this hard copy free, and it makes a great book for the coffee table too. So I highly recommend it. It's by Chris Krimitsos, a good friend of mine, and co-founder of Podfest Multimedia Expo. So please check it out. Check it out. Anyway, so I think we're coming up close to the end of the wine stream. Before we go, I have a PSA to share for you. This is PSA number 4. I'm going to share with you now. Give it a listen.
COVID-19, better known as coronavirus, has spread throughout the world. Information about children with this disease is limited, but they are known to have had mild symptoms. Many organizations are responding accordingly depending upon their area. It's best to stay home and away from others, especially when sick, and continue following healthy hand wash guidelines, covering mouth and nose and not touching your face or high-touch surfaces. Clean and disinfect high-touch surfaces regularly, and for more information, please visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. Thank you.
All right, so that's the PSA that we have for COVID-19. I'm sure you're pretty tired of hearing this kind of stuff. I know we're all getting a little bit anxious for getting out of our homes and back to work and back to school and back to, well, I don't know, back to school. I'm sure some of the kids are enjoying this. But it's been a stressful time for everybody. I mean, all jokes aside, it's been a very, very stressful time for everyone. And I'm hoping this will end soon. I'm confident that it probably will end at some point soon, and we can all get back to our lives. Once again, I don't do the politics on the show or anything like that, but I'll just say this has been a trying time for everybody. We've all been feeling it to some degree to another, some more than others. Look, if you know someone who is in really, really dire straits, please help them out. Please help them out. Let's all do what we can to help each other. Let's not play the blame game right now. Let's not play the let's not be pointing fingers at anyone or anything or whatever for what's going on. Let's just concentrate on beating this thing. I mean, this is an enemy. This COVID-19 is an enemy. Let's concentrate on beating this thing down, getting back on track and back to our lives, and so we can get over this. So we can all just get through this. And I think there's so many stories about people who've been helping each other throughout this event. I'm not a big fan of the celebrity thing, that a lot of these celebrities, and I'm not a celebrity, I'm in the same boat with everybody else. Now, granted, yes, I am working from home and I still have my job. But you know what? Things could change tomorrow. Things could change tomorrow. It could just go completely dark on us tomorrow. But we're still, we're all still feeling the pain to some degree or another. We're still feeling pain. But there are some people who are in very dire straits. I would say that for some of those people who are in a position where they can really ride this out with any degree of in fair comfort, I would say that instead of putting out cute things and whatever, do something to help somebody else. That's all I can say. Do something to actually help somebody else who really needs the help. I would say that. I think that's the thing that bothers me the most about that. It's when it comes to a lot of the celebrities. Some of them complain a lot. Some of them are just doing stuff to entertain other people. Now, yeah, I'm entertaining you, but look, I'm here right here with you. Okay. And this is just kind of a slight respite to kind of get away from some of that other stuff that's going on day to day. But look, for some of these people that are just kind of flaunting what they have and what they're doing, instead of doing all that stuff, why don't you concentrate, put your energies into actually helping other people doing, and not because it makes you feel good, not because it makes you feel better or it makes you feel less guilty about it, but because it's the right thing to do. That's my message. And this is one reason why I don't want to be a celebrity. Anyway, so that's my second rant of the night, isn't it? Let's help each other. We're in this together. Let's help each other together and get through this together so we can get out of this together and back to our lives. All right, I guess that does it for the show tonight. I want to thank you for joining me tonight. I want to thank Mike, who's joined us, and Pete, my cousin Pete, and there. I missed that. Sorry about that. It's good to see you, Pete. I hope you and Aunt Connie and Denise are all doing well. And I want to thank Stephanie for joining, and Phil, as always, my good friend Phil, and Christina, very close friends of mine, Christina and Jim. I hope you all are doing well and staying safe. My lovely wife, Chi. And in the Twitch chat, I want to thank Lori9, and hi right back at you, Lori, and Demoid, hi, and Skur00. Thank you for being here in the chat with me tonight. Thank you for joining me. And anyone else, I don't know who's on Twitter right now. I can't really see them. But thank you for joining me on Twitter. But I want to thank you for being here with me tonight. I do appreciate each and every one of you. I don't see anybody in Facebook. Oh, excuse me, in YouTube tonight going on. But people are watching. But it's okay. You can watch. YouTube is one of those platforms where a lot of people will watch and not too many people will comment. But I want to thank you for being here and participating and for just enjoying the time together. I do appreciate each and every one of you, as I said before. Please drink out of the comfort of your own home. Do not text and drive. Do not drink and drive. I want you to have a great week, and I want you to have a safe week. Look, we've got a lot going on here. I understand that. So just be careful out there. Just be very, very careful. Have a great week, and have a safe week, so we can all get together next week on the Saturday Night Wine Stream. We can all get together and drink with Rick. Good night.